allow for me to shed some light on some shit in terms of the great upset that just occurred with regard to the Dems and how Robert Mueller, Manchurian candidate, failed, epic, loser, lousy, bum ass, so-called official. Dude is over and out politically. And it's probably the greatest upset to the Democrat Party in America in all of human history. So let me explain what you're not really hearing in the news media, and let me put it into perspective for you in a way that makes total sense. So it's really simple. By the way, I'm One Sir Grove. Thanks for tuning in. If you're a fan of the show, a true fan of the show, IWE495, we respect that. That is you, most certainly. So, to put it into perspective, very simply, everything that is the Dems try to do, backfired. You're not really hearing that in the media. Now, that may seem simple and straightforward on the surface. Let's dissect that, deconstruct that, and look at it through an analytic lens that you would not be exposed to in mainstream media. So, okay, Grove, you're saying everything they did backfired. All right, so we see that, but what of it? Like, okay, right, true, but like, how is that like outstanding and like phenomenal and spectacular and extraordinary in the sense of like the whole event and the whole pseudo event, as Mark Levin would say, the whole scenario as it played out? Well, here's why and how. Everything they tried to do backfired. Now imagine this. You're Hillary Clinton and you have money from espionage because you're a sellout to America. You're working with the Russians. You're colluding with the Russians. Fusion GPS, Uranium One. You're doing all of these things with the Russians. The Steele dossier, which was paid for by your campaign. That is your Hillary Clinton campaign. You pay for this former British spy dossier and information that comes basically directly from the Russian intelligence services. And I'm not saying the Russian intelligence services as a whole. I'm saying rogues, those in Russian intelligence who are feeding you this information. Not the whole service, not the service as a whole, like SVR or KGB as it once was, or GRU, or these but basically the Kremlin, Russian intelligence. There are those within Russian intelligence who are feeding you information that you believe is pertinent to your campaign, that is election campaign for presidency as Hillary Clinton. So you, Hillary Clinton, have, and I'm saying you, the audience, I want for you to suppose for a moment that, and I hate to do this, but suppose for a moment that you're Hillary Clinton. That's my point. So your campaign, you colluded with the Russians. Clearly you did. It's already case file. It's already on record with the U.S. Justice Department, justice system of American government and justice. You colluded with the Russians. There's no way around it. The mainstream left obviously won't report that because you can't be painted in any kind of negative light. But nonetheless, the whole world knows at some point that you, Hillary Clinton, you colluded with the Russians. You clearly did. You paid for this, what you thought was intelligence information that was bona fide. And as it turns out, it was all deception. Backfired. Okay? So backfired on you. You tried to thwart Trump's efforts to become president himself. Backfired. You tried to carry out surreptitiously, that is secretly, activities using an unsecured and illegal espionage server that you thought no one would ever find out about. Everyone found out about it. Backfired. You see what I'm saying, audience? Like, everything they tried to do backfired. Like, one thing after another. Every iota, every little tiny itty bitty tick, 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 data point, data point, data point, data point. Everything they tried to do in the real world matrix, it all worked against them. You see, the universe was against them. Every fucking move they tried to make, every little strategy, every little tactic, one after another, like a domino effect, house of cards crashing in, imploding on itself. Every fucking thing they tried to do backfired. One after another. Isn't that amazing how that shit worked out? You see, the media's not really reporting that. Because my analysis in terms of how every tick of every iota, of every sliver, of everything Hillary Clinton and Hussein Obama and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Andrew McCabe and James Comey and Robert Mueller and all of Deep State, everything they tried to do, they got caught. It's called hyperspace surveillance. You see, because the universe was aware of their actions and what they were attempting to do to the United States. So the error correction protocol went out into the real world matrix, was activated, and was watching their every political fucking gambit move. Every little red herring, every ruse, every little sleight of hand, they thought that they weren't being observed. The universe saw what the outcome would have been if Hillary had won, and her deception, and her artifice, and the fact that she and her husband, they're both a sham. That's why her husband, Bill Clinton, I hate to call him the former president, he tried to scale back the U.S. military because he's a socialist, Marxist, communist as well. They both are. Yes, he had extramarital affairs because he's a fucking douchebag. Well, he's a punk, he's a dick, he's a fucking traitor, and she's a fucking bitch, and she's scandalous, and she's a fucking traitor too. So all extramarital affair issue aside, or affairs, who knows, I've heard of him allegedly going on sex trips, which I wouldn't put it past him, and I'm guessing it's probably accurate. Because these are people who do dark things, and they, in their arrogance, in their arrogant minds, in their conceited, ego, maniacal minds, they think what they do will never come to light. Because these are not smart people. These are people, I understand he was a Rhodes Scholar. I understand he supposedly has a high IQ. But that's his intellectual defect. That's his character flaw. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that he was a Rhodes Scholar. Doesn't matter that he has a high IQ on paper, on clinical record. Doesn't matter. Despite such, he thought he was doing things that people would never find out about. How fucking smart can you be? Seriously, despite your IQ, if you're doing shit that constitutes, that amounts to, that equates to major fucking crimes, you obviously are doing shit that you don't want for people to fucking find out about. Because if you're to say, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, that you knew you would be caught, which you'll never admit to, if you were to say that, if you were to say that you knew, and you knew at some point you would get caught, that would be admitting guilt. But you see, these motherfucking people, they're so, like I said, arrogant, and they're so egotistical, and they're so conceited, they actually, in their human minds, in their human psyche, they actually don't think they're going to get caught. Because why would they do this shit in the first place? It doesn't make any kind of mathematical sense. It defeats the purpose. So you did all these things knowing that you were not going to become the president of the United States. Hillary, you did these things knowing that you were never going to become president of the United States. Of course, she thought she was getting away with what she was doing. Of course, he thought he was getting away with his tryst with the Monica Lewinsky extramarital affair where he got a blowjob. Who knows what else he's done? Who knows what he did entirely in its entirety? Same thing with Hillary. He and she are so fucking stupid. They're actually stupid people. Y'all don't remember Whitewater, do you? I do. Some of y'all out there were like, whoa, we haven't heard that in a long time. You know how many scandals these people, the Clintons, have been in? You don't hear about it in the news media anymore because it's been sanitized and scrubbed from the news, from the media. I remember Whitewater. I know how many violations have been alleged against her in her dealings, in their dirty dealings. They're dirty fucking people, man. And my point is, as I have emphasized, they genuinely, truly, this is a mobile podcast. I'm multitasking here. I'm driving in insane East Coast traffic while I podcast. So that, like a stealth fighter pilot. So that being said, you have to look at their character, their personas, their characters, their personas, their countenance, where they're always smiling, they're all smiley, and they look all like confident. The thing is, man, is they're dumb. They're actually dumb people. They're not as smart as they pretend to be. They're not as smart as some of you thought they were. Hillary Clinton, man, is lucky that she's not in fucking federal prison right now at the time of this recording, like Martha Stewart was. They put Martha Stewart in prison for some bullshit. Like some fucking weak shit. Like some shit, man, that I don't know if she should have even really honestly gone to prison on some white collar shit. Hillary Clinton is guilty of espionage. And I think pretty much the whole world knows it. The left won't admit it, but she did it. I know for her because she's a stupid person. And she's actually quite dumb. Despite money that she may have earned and thieved and connived and finagled and finessed. I understand that despite the money and the revenue and her earnings and what she's done politically, I understand she's done those things, but she's still a stupid fucking person. She's not too bright. She's really dingy. She is a fucking dingbat. She is a fucking moron, and she's an absolute imbecile. So is her husband. Same shit. Smiling all the time, talking black, acting all, like they cool with black folk, running game, con games that is and are, and, always just smiling for the camera, cause it's all good, and playing the saxophone and like cheating on his dirty wife cause he's a dirty punk. They're both dirty scums. You know what I'm saying? They're fucking idiots, man. Because they got caught for every fucking thing they've done. They got caught. How fucking stupid. Like, really, dude? You wanted to, end your presidency on that note, to that tune, that you are a cheater as the commander, formerly commander-in-chief. So you're the commander-in-chief and you're a fucking piece of shit. And I'm supposed to look up to you and respect you and salute you? Fuck you. You're a dirty bitch. Okay? You and your wife are dirty bitches. And that's just how it is, man. I don't give a fuck that he's a former president. He's a piece of shit and his wife is a piece of shit. They both need to be in fucking federal prison. Right along with Barack Hussein Obama. He's another con man. He's another one involved in espionage, in terrorism. They all are, man. You know why? Because these people are sick. They're fucking sick. Their minds are sick. When you get to their level and you're absorbed and self-absorbed and you're absorbed all preoccupied with that like power thirst and hunger, and then you get it and it becomes insatiable and you just want more and more power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely because they're absolutely fucking corrupt. They don't care about human lives, man. They'll smile and pretend like they do. They'll kiss some babies and shit. They don't give a fuck how many people die, man. As long as their pockets, as long as they grease the right palms, as long as they rub, elbows and shit, as long as they schmooze up, and as long as they get those campaign donations and that Uranium One and that money from Fusion GPS, that intel and the Steele dossier, so that they can run more con games, more shells, more fucking schemes, more crimes. They don't give a fuck, man. And they don't think they're going to get caught. We're talking about sick people, man. Benghazi, espionage. Hillary Clinton knew she knowingly and willfully, okay? She knowingly and willfully had an espionage server, an unsecured server. There's a reason why information is classified. Here's the reason. If it's classified information, that means that information, if it were to leak, if it were to be disclosed to parties, entities that are unauthorized, that is, not authorized parties, that could result in grave, irreparable damage to the national security. Extremely grave. In other words, deaths. In other words, destruction. Obviously, she didn't know, right? Right, sure she didn't. Because she really fucking did, though. You see, man, they knew that by her having an unsecured server, it could result in casualties, fatalities, extremely severe, grave, irreparable damage to the national security. Obviously, she was and is willing to take that risk. She should be in fucking prison for that alone. They put Martha Stewart in prison. They put Wesley Snipes in prison on some fucking bullshit tax evasion shit. This motherfucking piece of shit ass bitch, Hillary Clinton, she had a server that she knew could get U.S. assets and our allies killed. And she did it any fucking way. You know why? She doesn't give a fuck about you. She doesn't give a fuck about your life. And her husband doesn't either. And neither does Barack Hussein. They're all terrorists, man. They're all domestic and foreign and international terrorists, man. They're a cabal, is what they are. And they're the same pieces of trash out of the history books going back to antiquity. Any dirty fucking medieval or pre-medieval, any type of kingdoms or civilizations, queendoms, any types of societies, any type of society that has existed since the dawn of humans, where you've had corruption and people who are misanthropic and don't care about humans, men, women, children. They only care narcissistically about themselves, sociopathically. They have no real fucking feelings. What was her excuse for having an espionage server where she knew that if that information got out, that soldiers, intelligence officers, assets, personnel, our allies could get killed? Why would she be willing to chance some shit like that? She did it deliberately. She did it intentionally. And she got caught. Anybody who would take a chance like that, they do it knowing that people could and can get killed. She knew people could and can get killed. Regardless of the probability of that happening, she did it anyway. And she did it knowing what the fuck she was doing was wrong. She needs to go to fucking prison. She needs to go to prison. Robert Mueller needs to go to prison. He ran a fucking sham. He ran a fucking sham. His whole testimony 1 and 2, both bullshit. He's not drooling on himself for real. He's not stupid for real. I mean, he is a stupid bitch, but he's not dumb. I mean, he is a dumb punk, but he's not ignorant. I mean, he is an ignorant piece of shit, but the point is, he knew exactly what the fuck he was saying. When he was dodging questions, when he was pretending to be, when he was pretending to be senile, when he was pretending like he had dementia and Alzheimer's, when he was pretending to not know about Fusion GPS, to not know about the Steele dossier, to not know what his fucking goddamn name is. This dude was trained in the U.S. and by the U.S. military. This dude has been a lawyer. He's been an FBI bitch. He's been motherfucking a soldier. And now, all of a sudden, during the time that he hired as a conflict of interest, all these opponents to Donald Trump for what was supposed to be an impartial investigation. Yeah, it was never a real investigation. It was all made up and make-believe by the left because they tried to rewrite U.S. law. They tried to make up their own laws, and they effectively carried out, well, ultimately ineffectively, but they, as a result, carried out an actual witch hunt in America. Anybody who says that it wasn't really a witch hunt is a piece of total shit. Trash. Okay? Just like they said, electronic surveillance is not spying. These people are double speakers. They are malicious saboteurs, wannabes. They are subversives. They are domestic and foreign terrorists. And these people are absolutely un-Americans. They will lie, they will trick, they will deceive at any and all costs. They don't fucking care or give a shit about the rule of law, U.S. American law, or the United States of America. If that motherfucking stupid goddamn punk ass bitch, Hillary Clinton, actually was a proponent, supporter of, and true defender, warfighter of and for America, yeah, she wouldn't be using an unsecured server, but she was, and she did it knowing that people could get killed as a result of it, because she's not a real true patriot. She's a liar, a con woman, and a fucking deceiver who needs to be in prison, along with people who were imprisoned for lesser crimes. James Comey needs to go to prison for a long time, which would be a lifetime. Robert Mueller is just as complicit in all of it, playing the I don't remember man role. He needs to go to prison for the rest of his stupid motherfucking traitor life. I know he was pretending to be Daughtery. I know he was pretending to have the old man senior Alzheimer's dementia syndrome. He doesn't have any of that shit because he was just Nazi Germany, America door knocking and arresting people and doing a very methodical, very thought out, very calculated witch hunt in America. But all of a sudden, one micro tick of a nano fucking split second later, millisecond, microsecond, he doesn't remember what motherfucking planet or universe this is. What a fucking coincidence. Bitch. Fucking stupid punk ass motherfucking goddamn fucking traitor to America, Robert fucking Mueller, and Andrew McCabe needs to be in fucking prison for the rest of his fucking life too. All of them. Barack Hussein, you know how these people are running around saying, well, technically, even after Trump leaves office, he could still be arrested. No, he actually can't be, because he hasn't committed any motherfucking crimes. But you know who can be? Your beloved Barack Hussein Obama, who committed a lot of crimes while he was in fucking office as president of America. That motherfucker committed major fucking crimes and helped the rise of ISIS, because they're all terrorist sympathizers and facilitators. William Barr, do your job!